Good evening. This is Maestro with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today, we have a 1v1 on Calderis Refinery. Our first player is going to be Laur, playing as the Techmarine, a shooty Space Marine ranged hero with a gun for every occasion and the ability to repair. And his opponent is going to be Acey, playing as the Chaos Lord, tanky, destructive melee hero that walks through cover, cannot be suppressed. Or knocked down from weapon knockback. And then Laur right here, I'm actually wrestling with how to say his name. I'm saying Laur, or maybe Laur. I think of the name Laura, but then removing the But anyway, let's get on with this game. Techmarine versus Chaos Lord. So our Chaos Lord right here is a tanky melee hero. More of the heroes in this game are melee rather than ranged. So any melee hero is looking to tie units up, and especially the tankier ones, like the Chaos Lord, who has starting hit point pool of 1,000 and generally on average is going to have higher hit point pools than most heroes. He's looking to draw aggro from his opponent, and it's also a question of, so here, if he's going to be by himself, kind of the question is, while he's drawing this aggro and basically buying time with his health, what can the rest of his units do? At the moment, Acey will be looking for a double cap with that. And another curious thing here is that we only have a single scout out of Laur, and he's getting a second tactical Marine squad on top of that. This isn't exactly considered typical for Space Marines, especially in 1v1 games. 3v3, it's definitely a bit more common. 1v1 games, you're giving up quite a bit of utility as well as early game map control, so that is in part why we do see the map control currently going in favor of Acey. Very marginally, though. It's mainly only the victory points. Otherwise, he is in... otherwise, the victory point control is actually pretty even. So the Chaos Lord right here going to find himself pretty isolated. The Chaos Space Marines on the other side, not quite rejoining that fight early enough, and now getting a little too close to the shotgun scouts. A little bit of a micro mistake right there. Had to draw the Chaos Lord away. He's actually taken way too much damage, and that's actually a very surprising early loss on the Chaos Lord. I think pretty much once he had pulled away with the Chaos Lord, that was the time when he really just needed to get out of there. Scouts themselves stand in there a little bit too long. They won't get wiped. In fact, we're going to see some few Chaos Space Marine models possibly lost. Actually pretty lucky there to not lose a single model on that Chaos Space Marine squad. And at this point, the Heretics ideally don't really want to continue engaging here. I mean, I think at best... The thing is, these two tactical Marine squads could actually just turn around, focus on these Heretics, and just win the fight. And in the process, Acey should really only lose models. At best, Acey is going to get a tactical Marine model. But the truth is, at this point, he's going to probably lose enough Heretic models that would roughly equal attack model loss. And so far, he's like not even really getting it. He's continuing to go for it, down to just the Expiring Champion. Yeah, so individual Heretic models are 13 requisition. So 13 times 8. Oh, we're doing some caster math. So let's split up the 10 and the 3. 10 times 8 is... Man, I can't believe we're doing this. 10 times 8 is 80. So that's already more than a single tac model at 75 requisition. Then you also have the 3, 8 times 3. So 104 requisition, if my caster math is correct. Given up there just for the attempt to kill a tac model. Unfortunately, doesn't succeed. These tacs staying out here at the point where if they stay around here much longer, they probably will lose a model. But keeping them here with this much firepower does make it pretty easy to gen bash. And, yeah, I mean, they can overwhelm the Chaos Space Marines right here who don't have much health themselves. And they'll continue with the Generator Bash. So this is definitely, so far, the early map control right out of the gate was in favor of Acey, and he's going to be looking for the double cap yet again. But this Generator push is also quite strong, and I don't think there will be anything here to stop Acey from completing this Generator Bash. He should finish off the node. Even if the Heretics try to approach right here, they would actually just get focused down by the overall firepower of these 3 units. So that is why Acey is looking to... Waited for all of his units to get out here. At this point, yeah, I was going to say, Heretic Worship on the non-Aspiring Champion Heretic squad allows them all to get into melee pretty easily, and that is a retreat. But still, without a single model being taken down... Overall, that was a very, very successful push by Laur. as well as just the way he managed that engagement where he didn't retreat the Tactical Marines against that one Heretic squad that was fighting here in the middle. And there are more considerations to make with that, like with how much time that Heretic squad spent fighting, then it needed to reinforce back in base. He might have been able to have that Heretic squad in a better position to defend the power farm if he hadn't taken up that time trying to fight those 2 Tactical Marines. I mean, 2 Tactical Marines should just be able to actually just brute force their way over a Heretic squad, even through the overall higher melee damage of the Heretics as well as the Doomblast. So Acey maintaining the double cap. Both players actually going with a very, very short tier 1. I say very, very short, but there are probably some other things I should consider. Obviously, double Tactical Marines. When you do get double Tactical Marines, it's a lot of requisition spent, so it's a rec-heavy tier 1. And since it's such a rec-heavy tier 1, that also means you delay your power by not getting generators as early as you could. So that also explains why Laur also making very minimal power expenditures to compensate for his slower power investment, basically getting those generators sooner. Or rather, getting them later than sooner. His only upgrade in Tier 1 was the Shotgun Scouts, so that's actually a very, very small Tier 1 power investment. I think we have slightly bigger power investment on the side of Acey, which is just the Aspiring Champion. So only one purchase, but the Aspiring Champion Heretics... the Aspiring Champion, not expiring, a little bit more expensive than the shotguns. So this is actually pretty nice for Acey. I think Acey pretty much wins this engagement. Shotgun Blast is already used, and still 2 squads of Heretics that can just approach in melee. I don't think I don't think any... I was going to say, I don't think the Techmarine goes down here, but still no kill on the Tactical Marines. Oh my god, Laur is having so much luck with not dropping any Tactical Marine models. So we are seeing some backcapping Tactical Marines, and it is kind of strange to see Tactical Marines on backcapping duty. Traditionally, this would be more of a scout job, since scouts are faster to move around the map. They also generally contribute less in combat, whereas Tactical Marines, with their tankiness as well as their overall firepower, you usually want them more in a fight than in a backcapping role. Both of our players going for what is, in my opinion, probably just the most typical purchase that you could get for, at least in 1v1 games, what I would say is the most meta purchase. And maybe not even just 1v1 games, the Razorback out of Laur, as well as the Blood Crusher out of Acey. Razorback, yeah, I mean, the Razorback, I think, has always been very strong. The thing about the Razorback, though, is that I think it offers the most in 1v1 for its cost, but what you need to really be able to do to basically make sure that you get that value without losing it is you need to have the micro to keep the Razorback alive and have it get things done and not have it be killed too early. Which, with only 400 hit points, if you don't have the micro and you're being targeted by like a Las Cannon Havoc on the other side, you can very quickly lose a Razorback. And it is definitely a thing when you are either, you know, just learning the game or rusty with the game, where you can very easily lose a vehicle as squishy as this Razorback. And some very similar things with this Blood Crusher, at least in the sense that you need to be on top of your micro so that it doesn't die unnecessarily, as it is a vehicle that is also not exactly super tanky. But there's certainly a lot of value to be realized from both of these units, although so far it's been pretty passive, mostly with the Blood Crusher, somewhat less so with the Razorback. And of course, the Razorback also offers the mobility that is more important in 1v1 games than in team games. And this should be probably an unload. Yeah, unload. Who else is in here? Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines not in the Razorback is a little bit disappointing, as this could be definitely a quicker, more efficient generator bash, but the response does seem to be slow enough from Acey that I think most of this farm goes down anyway. And even once Acey is able to approach, realistically, he shouldn't be able to kill the Razorback. The Razorback, with its speed, should just be able to kite away from the Blood Crusher. Yeah, as we see, it's moving out of there. At the moment, the Razorback can't do... Well, not at the moment, but the Razorback can never actually really do some damage to the Blood Crusher. At some point, the Tactical Marine Squad may be able to get out, but he doesn't want to get out just yet because he doesn't have any way of slowing the Blood Crusher down. And they can actually, the Chaos Army can actually just overrun the Space Marine units if the Blood Crusher just stops. So we have a little bit more going on here, but this is still looking a little bit questionable, mostly for the Blood Crusher that's actually just tanking so much damage from the melted Techmarine, and the melted Techmarine just barely is not able to get off a final shot to finish off the Blood Crusher. So even in that situation, I would say there, the Blood Crusher probably took just a little bit more damage than it should have, and Acey was just barely able to basically tie up the Techmarine in time so that the Blood Crusher wouldn't be finished off. So Heretics are finishing off just a single power node. No Sergeant upgraded on that Scout squad, so as squishy as the Heretics are, I don't think there's any chance that that squad will be going down. Chaos Lord, you know, just gotta say he's got no business being here at this time. It's just gonna be him forced off the field, possibly even killed. I think he'll be lucky enough not to be killed. Oh, the Plague Marines, this might be something. Okay, the Plague Marines get off one shot, but ideally here, I think they need to just back up themselves. At some point, they can just be tied up, and with Scout support, with repairs on the Razorback, realistically, the Plague Marines should not take out the Razorback. So neither player succeeding in taking out the other one's vehicle. Acey came dangerously close, though. Acey also making better use of this time to gain control of the map. In fact, I don't think Laur had much of an opportunity to regain control of the map. He basically took his Razorback with an attempted power bash, and it worked. But then he was actually just put under so much threat, the counter response from Acey, that he never actually had much time to capture the map. So we still have Acey with much of the map control, both the double cap, where he's nearly got almost a 200 victory point lead, as well as the side power nodes, giving him a stronger overall economy, even having this requisition point for himself. This is also another situation not entirely ideal for this Plague Marine squad, just being out here completely unsupported, because there's nothing that they're actually going to achieve here. What can happen in return is that they can bleed models, then they can be forced into retreat. If they're forced into retreat, Acey doesn't have a realistic way to even really threaten the Razorback aside from trying to charge in with the Blood Crusher. And at this point, all right, he's able to have the Plague Marines weather the storm long enough. They don't have as much to work with now, but luckily the support comes in just about soon enough before the Plague Marines have to retreat that he is able to make some kind of threat with this. Okay, Blood Crusher under some threat, but is going to be tied up by the Chaos Lord. Ideally here, I think the Blood Crusher should just retarget over to the Techmarine. Because the Razorback has no real threat on the Blood Crusher, and this is a big play to take out the Techmarine. If he actually doesn't kill the Techmarine right here, I think it's a big missed opportunity. Oh my god, 1 hit point. Alright, might be able to get a model, which would be nice, but I think it was a missed opportunity to not retarget to the Techmarine earlier. Given the fact that the Techmarine literally survived with 1 hit point and was put in a really compromising situation because we had the Mantle of Hate using Drain Life on the Techmarine, I think it was actually... Basically, I'm pretty sure he would have killed the Techmarine if he had retargeted the Techmarine earlier. There wasn't much to be gained by continuing the pursuit on the Razorback. So Acey is still a very strong situation for Acey. Actually, this is looking even stronger for Acey as this goes on. He's got the double cap. He's got a Predator coming out on the field against a Dreadnought. Predator has a clear advantage here against the Dreadnought, especially if we do see a las cannon upgraded, although the las cannon might not come out too early, as we're still waiting on Acey to get the requisition for that. But at plus 257, he might have to wait a little while, and he might also have to concede this. And where is the Dreadnought? So I'm trying to check the Dreadnought timing in relation to the Predator. So the Dreadnought is faster, and if he wants the las cannon, he would have to wait for some time. He's going to go in. Mark target is put on the Blood Crusher, though. This is something... Oh, but Drain Life is put on the Techmarine, and we're seeing just how much threat that puts on the Techmarine. Can the Techmarine even be finished off here? Blood Crusher is in a lot of trouble, though. Missile Launcher Attack Squad. Grenade goes in from the Scouts. Missile Launcher Attack Squad is going to be tied up, but eventually that Heretic Squad actually getting so low might even go down in retreat. Predator is here. Unmarked Predator. So unmarked Predator. Ideally, this should have been a las cannon Predator, but of course he's bringing out the unmarked Predator because he wants to basically have this contribute to the fight. Oh my god, the Blood Crusher going in right here. I don't know if that's the right time to use the Fear ability from the Blood Crusher. That actually... Oh no. That was definitely not ideal. So, I mean, the Blood Crusher has two different abilities. One is a charge. One is a fear-like ability that basically makes any infantry units near the Blood Crusher move away from it. But unfortunately, when it had been gotten in melee with the Tactical Marines, that's kind of exactly what the Blood Crusher didn't want. It really did not want to give the Tactical Marines a chance to fire one more missile. Meanwhile, the Predator itself also in a huge amount of trouble. So that was... I mean, that was a situation where I very much believe, in fact, not even just very much believe, Acey absolutely had the compositional advantage there with the Predator. But ultimately, the way that engagement was managed was just better for Laur. And he'll take advantage of that time to get yet another generator bash. Most of the generator bash has been on Laur's side. So there's always that focus for him when he does get a nice engagement win. Has to be a little careful here. Predator still... no, not unmarked. Now it has the Mark of Khorne. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that was actually the time to go out attacking a missile launcher attack squad as well as a melted dreadnought when your Predator still only has something like 300 hit points. I mean, Predator with only 300 hit points, that basically means that one shot from the missile launcher attack, one shot from the Dreadnought will just finish off the Blood Crusher. Sorry, not the Blood Crusher, the Predator. All right. So Techmarine there unfortunately loses. Ooh, and this is also pretty rough. I'm just realizing now, originally he had the Plasma Gun. And I mean, there's good reasons for the Plasma Gun. Plasma Gun for the Techmarine, absolutely devastating against Tactical Marines or really just any heavy or super heavy infantry armor. But unfortunately, he spent the resources on the Plasma Gun, then had to switch to the Melt-A-Gun. But, you know, it's at least not bad in the sense that the Techmarine has that flexibility, that he does have anti-vehicle options, and Space Marines are often... Definitely one of the strengths of Space Marines is that they really don't have a shortage of anti-vehicle choices compared to many other races. I mean, you've got the missile launcher and the tac squad, the fact that one of your main, basically, just one of your core units, you can upgrade it to a anti-vehicle weapon. And some people might kind of contest this because the missile launcher tac squad isn't ideal. It's kind of expensive, especially in terms of power, and it reduces the anti-infantry effectiveness of the squad quite a bit. But it's more that you have that option, whereas other races, not all races do. I mean, you look at Eldar, the anti-vehicle options out of your Tier 1 units not quite as flexible. Chaos as well. Usually with those two races, you have to rely a little bit more on Tier 2 units rather than upgrades to Tier 1 units. Now, Acey has the double cap, but he needs to reclaim his power node. So we're going to see a new Predator, this one upgraded with the Mark of Tzeentch, which, of course, just gives it the most anti-vehicle damage possible against something like this Predator. And by Predator, I actually meant this Dreadnought. A Dark Age of Technology upgrading for Laur, which, you know, of course, just gives it... The main thing you get out of the Dark Age of Technology is the health upgrade. Maybe not the main thing, it's not the only thing, but I think especially in this case, when you're dealing with something like that Las Cannon Predator, I think that's where it's going to receive the most benefit. Otherwise, there are inspiration benefits for the Dark Age of Technology upgrade. All right, Las Cannon Predator putting in that damage against the Dreadnought. Las Cannon Predator does do a little over 200 damage per shot, so overall very high damage. And unfortunately, that Dark Age of Technology upgrade is never going to come. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a few cases of vehicles kind of overextending and being in situations without enough support. Tactical Marines lose their sergeant, but they still have and they show no fear active. I've actually never seen, I don't think I've ever seen that interaction. Can they finish off the Heretic Champion? 5 hit points. Can they finish off 1? Yes, they do. So that's pretty nice. But Chaos Terminators will be called in, and that will be enough to win this fight. Might even be able to snipe a few more models in retreat with those heavy melee power fists. Wow, teleporting forward, trying to finish off the missile tac squad. I think with range damage, they might be able to do it. 11 hit points, 5, 3, 1. Yes, they finish off the missile tac squad. Space Marine Terminator is going to come out. That's like not even a word. Come out in response. But the Space Marine Terminators, at the moment, are not actually looking like that strong of a purchase. Yeah, they're, at least in the sense of, they're not really going to do a great job of countering much of what Acey has, aside from maybe the Chaos Space Marines. But this would also be a good time for the Chaos Space Marines to upgrade. In fact, I'm actually surprised I haven't talked about this, that we don't see a mark yet on the Chaos Space Marines. And especially, if anything, I think it could have come in Tier 2, but especially now with Terminators out on the field, we should absolutely see an upgrade on the Chaos Space Marines, no question. The only argument against getting an upgrade on the Chaos Space Marines, in my opinion, would be if he wants to get out some other unit. But even then, I would still be in favor of getting a mark on these Chaos Space Marines, because he's going to get the resources for that much, much sooner. But anyway, we got a flank on the Predator from this Techmarine. We need some kind of tie-up maybe, or just focus on the Techmarine to make sure he's not able to finish off the Predator. All right, I think the Predator's in the clear. Meanwhile, Chaos Space Marine's losing a ton of health and going down to just one model. Terminator's not able to finish off the Techmarine. They're trying to go for it, but they won't. And it's actually a triple cap for Laur. Unimaginably. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so Acey does get out a Heretic Squad, and I'll actually be pretty fair about that one, that he definitely actually did need a Heretic Squad before upgrading the Chaos Space Marines, because he needs repairs for the Predator, and that is more important. But that being said, at this point with the army he has, I absolutely believe that Acey's next upgrade should be a mark on the Chaos Space Marines. At this point, it almost doesn't even matter which one. Either one will dramatically improve the performance of the Chaos Space Marines, whereas right now, they're honestly kind of dead weight. That might be a little overly critical, but it's actually not too inaccurate. Anyway, Chaos Lord right here, looking to tie up the Tactical Marines, get some nice special attack to knock over these level 4 attacks. Oh no, Chaos Space Marines once again in trouble. So the Chaos Space Marines with the starting... they're going to lose another model, I think, if they keep on just letting themselves be shot at by the Terminators. Probably just looking for a better retreat path there, so they didn't have to retreat through the possibility of the Terminator melee attacks. But yeah, the piercing damage bolters on these Chaos Space Marines, really, they're going to do almost nothing to the Terminators. They're very strictly going to be a losing fight against this level 4 plasma attack squad. So at this point, the Chaos Space Marines, they need the damage that comes from either mark to really contribute much against what's left of Laur's army. Techmarine moving forward. Puts mark target on the Tactical Marines. Sorry, on the Plague Marines. I would not regard the Plague Marines as really the most ideal choice for the mark target at this time. If anything, they're the squad that I think you're most able to leave out on the field. Meanwhile, Heretic's taking so much damage. They actually get wiped, and Acey realizes already he's replacing a new one. A little bit unfortunate there, because again, he's spending those resources that could instead be used for a mark on his Chaos Space Marines. Meanwhile, these Terminators for Laur being pretty brazen, but eventually they do teleport out of here. Imperial Abyss, I don't think this is going to be a great Imperial Abyss. Oh no, but the Tactical Marine's getting knocked into it. Oh, a few models do go down. Scouts retreat straight through it. Okay. That actually Abyss... Whoa! I can't believe that Abyss actually got that much value. Meanwhile, Dreadnought is put down for Laur. So the Dreadnought getting that much value actually did surprise me. Oh man, this Dreadnought, Venerable Dreadnought, has already taken 600 damage, and we've got dropping it right in front of a las cannon Predator. Yeah, the Abyss there, I mean, it was put ahead of the tanks, so they didn't go down. The Scouts ended up retreating through it. He kind of panicked in that regard. And then, to be fair, I guess the Terminators were beyond it, but they were actually just pulled in. So, actually a very high-value Imperial Abyss. The Dreadnought just trying to keep line of sight blocked. Oh no, this Dreadnought might be gone. Like it's a... Oh my god! I think that was a direct las cannon hit against the Techmarine, taking out a quarter of his hit points. Yeah, the Techmarine is not going to be able to finish off that las cannon Predator. Tactical Marine's trying to move forward for another one, but they're just going to get tied up by the combination of the Chaos Lord. Even the Plague Marines looking to get in here, just trying to make it so that the Tactical Marines cannot get off another shot. Eventually, the Dreadnought will move forward, but now the Plague Marines, they have the Plague Marines as well as the Predator. They have a shot on the Dreadnought. This is a dead Dreadnought. As long as, you know, they actually target it. Oh, no. He doesn't get the target, but he does snipe another TAC model. I think if he kites away, if anything, this is actually a time when I'd like to see the Heretics go forward. Yeah, let the Heretics go forward. They should be. They might still be able to finish off the Techmarine. Oh, they don't continue. Wow, I can't believe this Venerable Dreadnought got out of there with 8 hit points. All right, yet another double cap for Acey. Does feel like he's had the double cap for much of the game, but, well, he still actually has the victory point lead, but Laur has actually gone a pretty long way to evening up the victory points. Problem is he has been kind of on the back foot of his, basically his army for much of the game, but at the same time, I actually think Laur has done a pretty good job with his engagements. In fact, in general, yeah, there just have been a lot of times when I like the way Laur has managed his engagements. In the end, it may not be enough. The Abyss actually getting a huge amount of value was definitely a big blow to him, taking both his Terminators as well as his Scouts. We've got new Scouts here to help with repairs, I suppose, but, oh man, they're level 1 Scouts with no upgrades. Unfortunately, they provide so little at this moment in time. This is actually honestly really tough for Laur to come back at this point. He needs more units. He's going to get a Devastator squad. That's honestly a rough one. Okay, I think the main motivation behind the Devastator squad is for a las cannon so that he can try to just secure the kill on the las cannon Predator. The problem that I'm seeing with it is that the Terminators can teleport in aggressively, and they will absolutely just slice up the Devastators so quickly that the Devastators might just get wiped. And then even if they don't get wiped, even if they retreat in time, that just pulls that hard counter of the Predator away from the fight, which should give Acey enough of an advantage that he should just win the fight from there, barring any big other micro mistakes. All right, so it's very much on Laur at this time to make a move. I think this is as good a time as any. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he could afford like another upgrade. He actually got the infiltration upgrade on the Scouts. Probably just looking to do some literal scouting here, just to try to grab some intel on what is going on. Or he might be looking for a back cap. Tactical Marines with a missile launcher. Oh man, I don't know if he's looking for... I assume this is supposed to be a flank. He needs more to move up. He needs the las cannon Devastators moving up, so it's kind of a pincer position on the Predator. Tactical Marines shooting. They shoot in a missile. Las cannon Devastator setting up. I think this might be a dead Predator. But, you know, I've already made a few mistakes. If he can get one more shot... No, one more shot. It's going to need 2 now because of the repairs coming in. Meanwhile, the Venerable Dreadnought is trying to go in. The Zinja upgrade is finally there. And eventually something, it might have even been the Techmarine who got the last shot on the Predator. And I actually really, really like the way that was set up from Laur, creating the threat on the Predator from multiple directions. Unfortunately for him, he will lose the Techmarine against those Terminators. I mean, he's definitely kind of struggling for answers against the Terminators. At this point, like if he has much time, he's got actually enough resources that he might be able to get a new unit soon. Not Terminators. I think at this point, I think actually, as crazy as it sounds, Laur, attack squad might actually be a good choice for Laur at this point. Attack squad upgraded to a plasma gun to give him a little bit more to deal with the Terminators. But he's also just running out of time. Did manage that decap with the Scouts. Oh, the Dreadnought, though, can't make it out alive. If anything, I think this would be the time for the Scouts to go support that Dreadnought with repairs, but the Plague Marines won't be pursuing it any further. Meanwhile, we actually have a decap on the Space Marine Natural with this Chaos Lord from Acey. So the game is being turned into a ninja capping game at this time. More repairs coming in for the Venerable, but the Plague Marines are here. The Venerable, I think, can just try to engage them in melee. Actually, this would be pretty questionable because, of course, it's going to get snared. Oh my god, oh no. It's getting out of range of the repairs, but we have a double cap for Acey, and that's probably going to finish the game. Dreadnought on this end is not dead, but I don't think Acey, or rather Laur, gets a unit on the victory point soon enough for anything else to matter. All right, that will indeed be it. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good night.